D-Lee, take us back to 15, where if you could help a person to feel who you were and what you were doing and how you were doing it, how would you explain that experience?
Man, I was 15 years old. I was on some dumb stuff. Dumb stuff. So, do y'all remember when you were courting or dating, whatever term you used, and you ain't really seen the person, but y'all just talking on the phone, and you talking, and your mama telling you, get off that phone. Your daddy telling you, get off that phone. Y'all remember? And then I had a sister in the house, and we didn't have call waiting. We didn't have call waiting. So, she have her little friend calling, and then, oh, they get that busy signal. But y'all, oh my God, I ain't calling no name because ain't nobody signed no paperwork. So I ain't calling no name. But y'all, 15 years old. Oh, boy. Me and Big D, my homeboy, rest in peace. Big D was this dude, was solid. He was huge. So we had a City League football team. Big D could not make the City League football team. We had a weight limit. We had a weight limit for the city. But Big D, when he got to high school, he was the man. So I never forget y'all, 15, I'm 15, Big D like 14. My sister liked him, by the way. He liked my sister a little bit, but we didn't cross that, I said, Big D, walk with me. It was election day. I remember it like it was yesterday. We out of school. Y'all know election day, you out of school. We walked from one side of town to another side of town. I'm talking, we ain't had no smartwatch. I know we got our 10,000 steps that day. That was the day though. It changed my life. I was introduced to sex at an early age. Let's keep it 100. It changed my life. Big D was so excited for me. He was more excited than I was. Big D said, you really did it. Because he was in the other room. We weren't in the same room together. It wasn't like that now. He was in the room. He kind of heard some noises. And it wasn't even like that. Because I'm 15. I don't know what I'm doing. But I was introduced to sex. And I never forget going home. And I'm happy, I'm giddy, all the things. My mother and father both saw it on me. They saw it on me. And my mama said to me about a week later, something different about you. My daddy hit a crack addiction. So he in and out the house. But on the weekends, he really on one. So I never forget, I buck up to him now. He said, oh, I never forget what he said to me. Oh, you think because you didn't got you something there, you're going to try me? I never forget it. I said, well, how they know what happened? But that was a period of my life where I was introduced to something that at a young age I wasn't ready to handle. Now, if I can go back 31 years, I would have made a decision not to take that walk that day because of the consequences that it caused. Because oftentimes, when we get a hold of something, not just sex or anything that you get a hold of at an early age, or you can't handle it, there's some things that come from that causes a ripple effect. So let me give you an example. So I said, oh, well, if this girl liked me, what about this girl? If this girl liked me, what about this girl? A ripple effect. Now, I wasn't the most popular kid. Matter of fact, I had very low self-esteem. You probably can't tell now, but I had very low self-esteem. I always say if I get some money, I'm gonna fix my nose, but you know what? I'm gonna keep my nose because I done had it 40 plus years. I must do something to your lips. No, but I'm gonna keep my lips. I done had them 40 plus years. I used to get picked on. You got a big nose. You got big lips. all these things when I was a teenager. So I was not the popular kid at all. But then the popular kids' girlfriends, when the popular boys were running wild, their girlfriends would call me crying. And I knew the tea. I knew the tea. And then the girlfriends would say, well, come on over, but don't tell anybody. And I thought that was a gateway. Now, my father, his 3 brothers were all crack addicts. Every last one of them. Crack, cocaine, come from a 2-parent home, blue collar workers, but they were crack addicts. Matter of fact, I have an uncle right now that's serving 29 years in prison. I just wrote a letter on his behalf to the parole board a couple weeks ago. He introduced my father to crack cocaine. His brother. That decision when I was in elementary school, 5 or 6 years old, it changed the trajectory of my life because I saw my daddy on a roller coaster all his life. I never saw a healthy father until I was in my 40s. Beat my mother, stole, manipulated, beat my mother, stole. Hell, he sold all the furniture one time. We come home, every piece of furniture was sold in the house because he knew he was going to do some time. Y'all, it hurt. Matter of fact, he's pawning the car out to my classmates. They picking him on the bus. Oh, we drove your mama's car this weekend. You just don't know. I didn't want to ride the bus. But I couldn't tell them, I know where your girlfriend live at. But they were driving my mama's car. I remember my mother would have to put police reports on the car because my daddy has pawned the car for crack rock cocaine. Me and my sister was the laughing stocks of the high school, the city. My sister, she was being very promiscuous. She's going through her thing because daddy won't dare. He's in the house. I was the good kid, though. My grandparents, I was the oldest grandchild. I was like their 5th child. They had 4 boys. So they coddled me. They took me in. Even though I was sneaky, I was manipulative, I was egotistical, I was all these things. But I go in that choir and sung on Sunday. I went to Sunday school. I was the youth superintendent. But every chance I would get, I was at some young lady's house. Every chance I got, I was doing the things that I know. Matter of fact, I called myself, because I was so mad at my dad, I called myself, I know it's past the statute of limitations, I called myself selling drugs. Was no good at it. Was losing money. And no, seriously, y'all laugh. I was losing money. And the guy who was my supplier, he tells me, you're not good at this. You're not good at this. So I'm saying all that to say, when life hits you, when you're going through what you're going through, we try to find things to ease the pain. It could be drugs for some. That was not my thing. Drugs was not my thing. I smoked a little marijuana in high school. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But if she smiled at me, and because I didn't know who I was, it was trouble. I was going to do everything I could do to get in between her legs. You know, at church, about 4 months ago, this young lady pulled me to the side and said something very profound to me. It was so profound I had to tell my wife. And I do typically tell my wife everything. She says, Brother Don, I need to tell you something. I said, what's up? She says, thank you. I said, what do you think of me for? She said, you're safe. And not many men are safe. I said, what, I'm ugly or something? She said, no. And she hugged me and she embraced me like a sister. And I felt at ease because those thoughts were no longer there 15, 20 years ago to where, oh, you know what? We can go up the road. Let me get your number. Let me holler at you. Because here's the thing. When you're safe, you don't have to worry about the other stuff. That's why when me and my wife have these conversations and I tell her how I'm feeling or what I'm going through, she don't judge me. She don't judge me. She say, baby, it's normal. I have them too. I think certain things too. And then that's why when we get into those things, you know, what I love about Change Church is when I walked in that building, they says, we're going to teach people how to live, lead, and live like Jesus. The third way, not culture's way, not church's way, but the King's way. You know, I really wasn't the smartest kid in school, but I did enough to get by. And you know, sometimes you don't push yourself until you had to push yourself. Let me give you an example. You have to take a foreign language. And my foreign language of choice was Spanish. It wasn't French. It wasn't Latin. Everybody said, if you take Spanish, it's going to be an easy pass, Donald. They didn't call me D-Lee then. They said it's going to be an easy pass. I take Spanish. All I got as far as uno, dos, and tres. That's all I remember. But the point I'm making, I got by Spanish because I was a class clown. Y'all can't believe that, but I was the class clown. And I never forget my Spanish teacher called me out in the hallway. And she says, it was like in April. So, you know, we got about 2 more months of school. She says, you're not going to pass Spanish. She says, but I'll make a deal with you. I was good at making deals, y'all. Good at making deals. That's why I work for Fortune 500 companies. You know, I've been on Circle of Excellence trips. I've been in Rookie of the Year. That, you know, companies have paid me to train and travel and make some good money. But don't ask me for nothing because I ain't giving it to nobody. Matter of fact, run me my coins. You know who you are. But she put me in the hallway. She says, let's make a deal. She says, I need this class under control. And I believe you're the only one that can get this class under control. We only got 2 more months in school. She says, I'm going to give you a D. I'm going to give you. She said, but promise me this. You'll never take Spanish 2 or 3. She said, don't take it. She says, matter of fact, go back and change your electives. We had a 21 credit diploma and a 23 credit. I'm trying to shoot for the stars. Knowing good and well I didn't need a 23 credit diploma. I barely got a diploma. So I had to go back and change. She said, so the rest of the school year, I was like, Donald, they trying to provoke me. And I'm like, no, I need this D. I need this D. So the D in grade, the grade D. I need the D grade, the D grade. So I said, look, I just need the D. So I got the grade. I said, so I was in class and I was good the rest of the school year because we made an arrangement and I wanted to pass. And I wanted to pass. And I did pass. But it taught me at that time too, you can cut corners and still get something, but not get it the right way. You can cut corners because I didn't earn the D plus whatever she gave me. I think it was a 70. Thank you. I think the grading scale, a 70 was a D, 69 was an F. You know, I don't know what these kids get doing now, but a 70 was a D, but I didn't earn it, y'all. I didn't earn it. So then I get on to high school. Because when I was in high school started 10th grade. I know y'all started in 9th grade now. But I never forget, TJ, I don't think I ever told you that. I flunked 10th grade. I didn't have enough credits. But do you know how I felt that I flunked 10th grade? I felt that I flunked 10th grade because when I was supposed to be in the 11th grade, my picture was in the 10th grade class. I never forget Tiffany now. I like Tiffany too. She's a little red bow. Yeah, that was my type. They were red. They were short. They had a little weight on them. You know. Tiffany, I won't call her that name. That's my buddy. Tiffany, we in culinary arts class. She said, that Donald, I ain't like them little other fast girls you did. Tiffany was saved. She was holy. So that didn't last long. But Tiffany, because we in culinary arts, and we go in the back to get the flour, get the pastry stuff. Miss Blankenship class, I never forget it. And I'm trying to, Tiffany like, Donald, I don't do that. I'm waiting till I get married. I mean, she, long dress. I think Tiffany was a Church of God in Christ girl. Sweet girl though, sweet. I call Tiffany to this day. Matter of fact, I might call her when I leave tonight, tell her I talked about her. I got to send this NDA. But look, Tiffany says, Donald, why is your picture in the 10th grade class? Now, I knew I didn't have enough credits, though. So that year, I had to play catch up. Have you ever had to play catch up? Woo-wee. Playing catch up ain't fun because you have an opportunity to do the right thing the first time. My daddy would pour down all the dishes. Yeah, after coming off a crack binge high. Well, come in the house, and if something was wrong in a dish, one dish, he pulling out all the dishes. And whoever night it was to wash dishes, TJ, he gonna make everybody wash dishes, all the dishes, because of one dish, because you didn't do it right the first time. So that year, while everybody else was in the junior side, I'm in the sophomore class, and I gotta play catch up. Now I gotta play catch up. How do I play catch up? Because my mama didn't know I was, they didn't know. They just trying to make it. My daddy looking for his next fix. My grandparents, they think I'm just doing all the necessary things because I'm on the choir. I'm on the Sunday school board. I'm doing all the things in their eyes. But have you ever had to play catch up? So in 2022, I'm a full-grown adult now. I was blessed to be a part of John Maxwell's leadership program. By the way, I did play catch up, and I ended up becoming a senior, and I graduated on time, barely, with my class in 1998. Y'all do the math. I know you're trying to figure it out. But in 2022, I went through John Maxwell's extensive leadership training program. And it's about 100,000+ individuals across the globe a part of this training program. And we are in Orlando, Florida at the International Maxwell Conference, August of that year. I never forget telling my wife, because I did the little online inquiry one night. You ever did some online and they really call you the next day? They, like you didn't put your first name, your last name, and your telephone number. Well, they called me. And I'll never forget the lady, she says, you would be great for this. Tell me about yourself. And I gave her the spiel. And within 15 minutes, Mama D, that lady got $5,000 from me. Within 15 minutes. And it wasn't even a sale, and it wasn't even like something forced, but I knew I wanted better. Sometimes, in order to get better, you gotta be willing to pay the price. And paying the price don't just happen one time. So the wife in the room, oh, matter of fact, I'm unemployed at this time. I'm unemployed. Say it again. I'm unemployed. I don't have a job. And this lady just got $5,000. Now my wife, now don't call me a bum now. I was going through some things. She in the room, she got 3 computers set up. I won't call these companies' names. They ain't wrote no check yet. But she worked with 3 different companies at the time. And she had a headset on, and I told her, baby, God is going to take us somewhere. I think I finally found our niche. I said, I signed up for this program. And she said, okay, what'd you sign up for? I said, I signed up to be a certified speaker. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And she said, okay. What did it cost? I said, $5,000. She said, what? I said, oh, I used that card. She said, huh? And she didn't say it, but here's what she was thinking. I'm working these 3 jobs. You working 0 jobs, and you just spent $5,000. But here's what I understood, and here's what she understood. We were going somewhere. And in order to get somewhere, you got to be willing to pay the price. Many of y'all don't want to pay the price. Many of y'all want to build something off somebody else's back. Somebody else paid the price. I get more phone calls now that I paid that price. Oh. Everybody want me to help them with something. But when I start talking about invoicing, somehow the phone start crackling. It start making some funny noise. So what I learned is not everybody is willing to pay the price. Sitting here today, I had to pay the price. The producer said, do you want to go fast or do you want to go slow? He said, now we're going to do everything we can do for you to make you look good. But if you don't pay the price, it's not going to move as fast as you would like for it to go. That was a conversation we had. So I say all that to say this. Many of you need to understand, and the price might not be $5,000. I don't know what the price might be. The price may be, you might need to put down that 40 if you're still drinking 40s. The price might be, you might need to not answer when whatchamacallit call at 11:30, because she's not talking about nothing. Oh, when he DMing you, hey, beautiful, you ain't the only one he's saying, hey, beautiful to. I know. I had a rotation. And I would just change the name and say, God bless you, beautiful. See, you know, when they save, they really be. And I know a brother that sends scriptures out to chicks. And them chicks be falling for them. The 3 chicks was at the job working with me. He was hitting 3 of them at the job. They said, oh, he's such a godly man. I said, if you only would have saw that video, he sent me a you. And stop sending videos out to people. Because if you're recycling videos, okay, you done sent me the video, you sent my homeboy a video. Do you have an archive of videos that you're sending out? Please stop it. It don't look good. Please stop sending that same picture out. Because even my homeboy one time, we compared pictures. I said, let me show you a picture. He said, oh, that's the same one I got. Oh, she got the red one on with you. I said, oh my freaking God. And then we got mad at each other. Stupid. And we both married. We mad at each other married. Then my wife looks at my phone to check the balance. She said, what in the HE double hockey stick is this woman sending you these pictures for? I said, I ain't asked for no pictures. And sometimes men, we don't ask for the pictures. They randomly will send you pictures. I mean, how stupid is that? Don't send me no pictures. I don't want no pictures. I don't. I only want them for my wife. I don't want no pictures. Because see, people, it's crazy. Get delivered from sending the pictures. Get delivered from the video. This brother was sending out scriptures to these chicks. And then my brother, real talk, let's keep it real. I never forget. I'm testing him like he one of them homeboys in the streets. He says, if you don't tell her, I'ma tell her. Shh. I ain't gonna give you no credit. He said, you got 1 week. He said, you got 1 week. And we on vacation. And my time was winding down. And here's the thing, man. When you lose access, let's keep it real. Here's the thing, man. They already know. I said, there's something I need to share. I didn't cross the line all the way, but I crossed the line. See, sometimes you still try to put a clause in it. And my beautiful wife, she says, I already knew something was off. Men, they already know. But women, the men know too. Now I know a lot of times there's a difference from a hole in the pole. There's a difference. And I know people probably saying, well, how he know? Women, he know. When the attention ain't there, when the affection ain't there. And I just want somebody to understand that it's okay not to be okay. But what I learned is that you're hurting people. And hurt people. But heal people. I want you to understand there's a version of you that somebody needs. I didn't know I was me until I knew I was me. The weight loss didn't tell me I was me. The 6-figure income didn't know I was me. The 800 credit score didn't tell me I was me. The 5-bedroom house my mama told me when I bought the 5-bedroom house, don't let this house have you. Because I told you I come from the homeless shelter. Don't let this new car have you. See, Gideon was pressing wine. And he says, mighty man of valor. He didn't know he was he. If I knew I was me, I wouldn't have walked to the other side of town at 15. If I knew I was me, I wouldn't have married the woman with 3 kids at 18. Saving, abandonment issues, and trying to fix it. I'm going to show them. If I knew I was me, I wouldn't have had another child outside of my marriage. And now I got to face the noise. Now I got to be honest. If I knew I was me, life wouldn't have been perfect. It wouldn't have been perfect, but life would have been better. When my grandparents, who had the means, said, son, don't do this. We got better for you. We got a little fun saved for you. We can't give you this fun if you're going to marry this girl. That's what my granddaddy told me at 17. He'd come to my house to pick me up that morning to go to visit the school. I really had the grades, but I had the fund. My grandfather worked 30 plus years at Goodyear Tire and Rubber. He had been putting away a little bit every time he got paid to make sure his oldest grandson. I said, Granddaddy, I think I'm gonna just get a job at the mill. No, I won't cut out for no meal. But I want to stay close to what my daddy told me. You ain't in love. You ain't in love. You ain't in love. He told me, but I was so doggone mad at Donald Sr., Big Donald. I was so mad because I watched him turn my mama up, beat her. My biggest fear was that my mother was going to get murdered when he came off on that crack bench on a Friday. Because, see, my mother had to get his check on Friday. She would have to get the check. Go pay this bill, that bill. You know, that was before we had debit cards and all that stuff. She would go pay him, and he'd come in the house. And it would hurt. It would hurt to see him smacking her and beating her and tearing up the house. Because it was always that $20 he wanted. And somehow she would find another 20. And then he'd come back a couple hours later, another 20. And somehow she might find another 20. She might find 10. And then he'll come back. And usually that third time, it's about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, she would wake me and Tyrese up. And we would go to my grandmother's house, which was his parents, or we would ride in the country, depending on how much gas she had, to her dad's house. Drugs was never my problem because I was scared of it. I seen what it did to both sides of the family, my uncles, successful men, but they let them drugs destroy their lives. Don't you allow that thing destroy you. I don't know what your thing is. Mine was sex. Mine was women. Mine was affirmation from the world. Theirs was drugs. What is yours? Could be gambling. It could be church every Sunday. Every time the door's open. Nothing wrong with the building. Nothing wrong with church. Yours could be over-churched. You got to be at church Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you ain't at home doing nothing for your husband or your children. Men, you want to be in that church and your wife just needs you to hug her. Whatever your thing is. Oh, somebody hiding right now. Somebody at work because they don't want to come home. They tired. So you thinking, I'm going to just do another project. Oh, I got one better than that. I'm going to take on something else. I ain't even finished the last 10 things I took on. I didn't. So now, see, my team fired me about a month ago, about 3 months ago, actually. And I can't take on any more projects without going through them. Some of us are just project people. Oh, not the community I'm talking about. It's project after project after project. And everybody got something for you. I think you'd be good for this, Donald. You do. I think you. I was part of every MLM. Nothing wrong with MLMs. But I didn't know I was me. Until I knew. Y'all, I never forget, I'm wilding. Ordained pastor, wilding. Wilding. Not on Sundays, but Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Because on Sunday I was clean. And I'm preaching hard. And I'm telling them about the word, the Lord. And I never forget, I heard the voice of the Lord say to me one time, if you don't sit down somewhere. He said, they're not going to sit you down because you're gifted. Yeah, I know you're going to say the scripture, the gifts and callings come without repentance. That's true. But I heard the voice say, sit down. He said, go have a talk with them, let them know what you got going on. I go have this talk with them and let them know I'm in some mess right now. The man and woman of God said, that's okay. We actually going to give you a pass. They said that. Can't make this up. They said, we see how your wife treats you. We see how she don't really attend to you the way she should. So you actually are good. Matter of fact, you should be doing that. I said, well, I feel like I need to sit down. They said, no. You're going to still preach every second and fourth Sunday. I leave, going home. And I heard the voice say, if you get in that pulpit, I'm going to take you out of here. So for about 8 months, I sat my butt down. And I did some work on me. And what I saw, because I was going to see my children very frequently. But I really wasn't going to see my children. And my mother would call me, because every time I would go see my children, I would take my mother, my spouse, or somebody would go with me. But I was going a lot by myself. My mother would call me. She called me about 6 months in. She said, something different about you. She said, you're seeing the kids a lot, and I'm not against that. She said, but what else is going on? And I tippy-toed around it. And my mother called it just like it was. She said, you're playing with fire and you're about to get burned. Now, my mother gone to glory. So driving back about 6 hours, I kept hearing that conversation. You're playing with fire, you're going to get burnt. You're playing with fire, you're going to get burnt. Many of you are playing with fire, and you're going to get burnt if you keep on. And so, but I remember so clearly, it was something different when I got home. The house was calm. The house was quiet. But I felt a death inside of me. Ooh. It was like my soul had escaped from me. And I remember my mother said, you're playing with fire, you're gonna get burnt. And at that moment is when I made a decision. But I had to face the reality. That's the point I learned. I had to face the reality that if I kept on playing with fire, I was gonna get burnt. And I'm not talking figuratively, I'm talking literally, I was gonna get burnt. I was gonna get burnt. I was gonna burn on the inside, but I was also gonna burn on the outside. And it was too much at stake to burn. So I made a decision. Now, oftentimes when you make a decision to do right, the people who benefit from your dysfunction, oh my God, they're gonna get mad. They're gonna blackmail you. They're gonna threaten you. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna just tell everybody. I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm gonna tell my mama. I'm gonna tell my daddy. I'm gonna just go ahead and confide in my wife. I'm gonna just tell, because see, here's the thing. You ain't gonna get one up on me when I know I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Have you been wrong? And you still trying to cover it up? You still trying to lie? Like, matter of fact, there's a guy I know. I'm not gonna call his name. He comes out, Brother Joaquin, with a story on Facebook. I'm not gonna call him that. It's one of my wife's classmates. And he says, you guys are gonna hear something about me. And with all this technology out there, it's not true. Now I know it's true, because the ninja was in my wife's inbox. He was. Talking about, you look good, your weight loss, what weight loss you did. Ninja, you got some weight on you, some real weight. Which program did you use? So I didn't say nothing, but she showed me the message. He says, there's something gonna come out about me. And it's not true. But God's gonna prevail. And these fools are co-signing that stuff. Brother, we know your character. No, you didn't, because that ninja was in my wife's inbox, talking about her weight loss surgery. I know he was, because she showed me. So then, I sends him a message nicely, because my phone blew up. Get your boy, you see your boy, because that's how they do, y'all. Okay, little city. I'm not going to call it. Yes, I am. Rock Hill, South Carolina. I lived there for 18 years. I'm going to tell you, they called me. They blew my phone up. You see your boy, he spazzing out. And I said, let me text him. Well, he got an iPhone. I got an iPhone. His phone, the message goes green. So I said, one or two things that happened. Either he suddenly switched or he ain't got that number no more. I said, well, it's too late. So I said to my voice memo, man, put your phone down. And the story came out a couple of days later, and it blew up, and that's fine. And I'm not judging, I'm not knocking, because things like that happen. But he kept going in this rabbit hole. And I say that to say this. If you know you messed up, face the music. Ain't no need going down no rabbit hole. And stay out my wife's inbox. Stay out my wife's inbox. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a second. You know the man married. You know the woman married. You see the pictures. You see the posts. And you go in the inbox. See, now there's a scripture in Proverbs says, there's not a wrath, and I'm gonna mess it up, but it's basically saying, it basically has no excuse when the man deal with you for trying or sleeping with his wife. It's in Proverbs. Thank you. Proverbs 6. So what I'm saying is, and it's so funny about the inbox because we show each other everything. It's so funny. It's so funny about the inbox. Now, we didn't always show you. Let's just keep it real. We didn't always show you everything, but we do now. See, that's another thing. Stop lying like y'all the couple. Now, when I see your husband and wife with the same profile, I know some stuff that went down. I'm not judging. That means something happened. I'm not judging because I know a few people. But I never forget. We talking about the inbox now. I got an inbox from a classmate of mine. And in high school, TJ, she was on a cheerleading team. Oh, my God. Wouldn't say 2 words to Donald in high school. Oh, shit, they got mine. Wouldn't say nothing to me. But about 8 months ago, I get an inbox. And she says, you have such a beautiful family. So proud of the man you become. She says, and I really missed out. So I showed it to her. She said, I really missed out. She said, I missed out. She said, if I only knew. I said, did she see the Lex? Did she see me in Aruba? What did she see for me to get this message? But then I got one time, me and the wife on vacation. I like Vegas too. And I can keep a secret. And honestly, because I really showed the wife this, a picture came next. Y'all got to stop sending them pictures, I'm telling you. See, it's some real stuff going on out here. No, I didn't accept it. Sometimes, no, I'm just saying. But I say all that to say this. We have to deal with our stuff because you can't be in between. There are no perfect people, but we got to work the process, even when it don't make sense, even when things are hard, even when it's tough. Money going funny at the house. Y'all got to figure it out. It's partnership. The loving ain't right. You got to talk about it. It's partnership. Somebody staying out a little too late. It's partnership. Somebody getting a little too chunky. Keep it real now. You don't have to be mean about it, but it's partnership. There's communication issues. You don't like their style, how they talk to you. You got to talk about it. Because at the end of the day, we all have to go through our go through. And a lot of times we don't want to go through it. We want to skip. Going back to people sending you messages and asking you all these things, it's okay to give advice. It's okay to offer support because we're here, but don't make their problems. Oh my God, that's where I'm being so delivered from right now. And just because they're family, we got the same last name. It doesn't mean your emergency is my emergency. I think so many times we allow other people's emergency become our emergency, and we put the burden on ourselves to fix it. So when the recruiter called me from John Maxwell, something I learned in that process, I learned 3 things. I learned that in this life, there's visibility. Now, a lot of y'all think visibility is how many followers you got on IG. That's good, but that's not what I'm talking about. The visibility I'm talking about is, can you make real impact? Seen or unseen? Y'all remember on Coming to America when my man put that money in the bucket and she thought it was Daryl, but it was really Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall? They made impact and she still gave the credit to somebody else. See, a lot of y'all want credit. See, Daryl took the credit. Soul Glow, y'all remember, some of y'all still rocking that Soul Glow. Daryl took the credit and he didn't put $1 in the bucket. And some of y'all gonna be too young, but BET playing it all day long right now, Coming to America. But visibility it's important when you're ready to get to the next level. Now, Eric, with visibility, you know what else you need? You need credibility. Oh my God. Keisha, a lot of people ain't got credibility. A lot of people will call you with the saddest story. Don't get me wrong, I've done it too before. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not calling on names. And then they'll walk right past you and have no intention on doing what they say they're going to do. I'm in a place in my life now, if I say something, I want to live up to it. Because I don't want you to ever say, Donald or D. Lee told me something and he didn't follow through. Because if I can't help you, my goal is not to hurt you. That's credibility. Now, the last one is my favorite part. Mama D is profitability. See, everybody want to jump straight to profitability. Everybody want the bag. They want to flex with their Temu outfit on. They want to flex. And they know they did. They bought it on Klarna. They know. They afterpaid it. They on vacation right now. 12 equal payments. So they won't be paying for this 26th vacation to January 2028. And I'm not judging if that's how you travel. But everybody want profitability. They want to jump straight to the profitability without going through the process. Now I want to bring it home because I want to be serious. You need visibility. You need credibility. But in order to really get to the promise, you got to go through the process. And that process sometimes might be the pig pen. That process might look like a homeless shelter. That process might look like a crack house. That process might look like a 12-step program. That process might look like going to the altar for real. Not because you're trying to convince your boo that you're doing right. Everybody's process look different. Oh yeah, it's people that do that. They snot and cried everything on Sunday for that man or that woman. Ain't got no intention on doing right. But I want to take you to the promise. And your promise ain't gonna look like my promise. See, everybody see you traveling. They see you eating good. They see you smelling good. They see you driving good. But they don't know you've been through. I know they ain't proper grammar. They don't know what you've been through to get to your get to. I know it's not proper English, but they want the results. You know, it's a guy in the gym, TJ. You pick on me about this gym thing. It's a guy in the gym, and I'm usually in the gym on a good day, 6:15, 6:30. On a bad day, a little after 7. But it's a gentleman in there, and I know he put the work in. And I know he's eating right, because he even got the water with him, his whole gallon. Oh, matter of fact, my wife I got to go in there with her now in the morning when he in there, because that joker, he swole. But I can't get those results without doing what he did. I want to land the plane with this. Stop chasing results without being willing to put the work in. Remember, John Maxwell says sometimes you got to pay the price more than once. That $5,000 initial investment that I made, I didn't make it just one time. Because then I joined another program where I made a $10,000 investment. Now, I was working then. I joined another program where I sat in a mastermind class and spent $25,000. So doing that, I was willing to pay the price. I was willing to invest in myself. No trust fund. No help. Just grind and determination that I want a better situation for my wife and for my 4 adult children. And I want them to see that you can come from the back door, barely passing Spanish, barely getting out of high school, and you can become everything that you were purposed to become. Because it says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, plans to give you hope and a future. Now, when you're going through, you go through, that future don't look good. I never forget owing about $37,000 in child support. I didn't owe it because I was a bad father. I owed it because the system was flawed. The system was flawed. And I kept making excuses. I will never pay this child support. I will never be done with this child support. And I don't know if you owe any child support. I don't know if you've been in that situation, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm not in your situation. But I never forget, I was able to write a check in 2024 for $27,000, I have that $37,000. Because they had knocked down $10,000 every year because they would take our income tax money if we got any. But I wrote one check, January 26, 2024, to pay that child support off. I paid the price. I looked at my children and said, it is finished. I said, I'm still your father. I'm always going to be your father. But I want you to know I finished this thing. And I showed them the receipts. No, they didn't get nothing from it. Their mama didn't give me anything. But I showed them that because I put my mind, my heart, and my soul to get this thing done. And I wanted some real benefits. I got tired of looking over my shoulder. I got tired of every time me and my wife was getting ready to go purchase something, that child support would come up. I got tired of my checks getting garnished. I got tired of the repercussions from having that stigma of back child support on my record everywhere I went. You gotta get sick and tired of getting sick and tired, being sick and tired. See, the problem is a lot of you ain't touched the stove just yet. A lot of folks, you see it's hot. You see it red. I mean, I'm talking about the old stuff. I ain't talking about the new age stuff, because the new age stuff don't get red. Oh, matter of fact, the new age stoves don't get red, but if you touch it, you know it's bona fide hot. But you remember them old stoves? You see it's getting hot. Oh my God. See, a lot of y'all problem is you don't touch the stove because you don't think it's hot, but it's really hot. You go from man to man, you go from woman to woman, person to person, trying to fill a void. You're going from crack, Molly, ecstasy, marijuana, Don Julio, 1800. Oh, I know them all. I know them all. Because guess what? It numbed me for a season. Henny hen. It numbed me for a season. But that numbing only lasts for a moment. I know y'all saying, ain't he a preacher? Ain't he? I thought he was a minister. And he is. And did all of it. And matter of fact, some of you doing it too. And you're doing it worse. I need you to look yourself in the mirror and say, I want a real change. And real change only comes when you acknowledge the pain. I had a mom and daddy. He was on crack. Mama was 15. I was introduced to sex at a young age. All the things, matter of fact, the therapist told my mama, one of your children are gonna be just like him. Thank God neither one of us had those struggles. The therapist said one of your children are prone, and it's probably gonna be the boy, because black males, blah, 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 blah. Who has put a label on you? There are some people have put labels on you. But I want to close with this. Trauma happens. Life happens. Situations happen. Situation happens. But forgiveness can happen. So March 29th, 2021 at 11:25 p.m., my mother left this world. That 15-year-old woman that had me, 40 plus years married, she birthed 2 children, me and my sister. Lord, help my sister. Help her, Lord Jesus. Sha-na-na. But it took my mother leaving this world, March 29th, 2021, for me and my father, the man that used to beat her, the man that used to torment us, to now, we don't miss a beat. This man calls me every single morning. And it's usually around 7:30. And we talk. He's came to 2 of my conferences where I received pins for accomplishing a 12-week cohort through Made Men. He missed my high school graduation because he was high. He missed the football games when I did play. He missed that chorus concert. He missed both the weddings. But he's there now. You know, Scripture tells us how many times should we forgive? And one says, do you forgive this many? Do you forgive that many? But Scripture tells us you got to forgive 70 times 7. And I want to encourage somebody this evening that let it go and forgive. Because I know today that my father is not the man in 2026 that he was in 1986 when he was introduced to crack cocaine. I know he's not the same man. I'm watching him call his grandchildren. I'm watching him check on my sister, making sure her needs is taken care of. And my sister grown with a whole household. I'm watching him check on me. I'm watching him call my wife. I'm watching him love on the family. I'm watching him being that person to his brother who introduced him to crack cocaine, who's still serving time in prison. I'm watching him become a better version of himself because he healed. And healing is a continual process. It don't just happen one time. And I forgave him. And it feels good. Matter of fact, I'm taking him to a football game this year. And I'm excited. I said, Daddy, don't worry about it. I said, it's your birthday, Christmas, and Father's Day all in one. But I'm taking him to Jerryland in Dallas. Don't hate. Don't come for us. And we're going to have a good time. Because redemption is possible. But you got to allow it to happen. There are some people even right now that I still been holding on grudges to. And I want to say this. I forgive you too. Because I may not never get the satisfaction of you telling me that you were wrong. You shouldn't have said what you said. You shouldn't have did what you did. But one thing for certain, 2 things for sure. Shakisha, I'm going to get this off my conscience. Because what I don't want to do, how can we say we love God? We in church every Sunday. We at the Bible studies. We at the events. We at the conferences. But then our brother and our sister, we have an art against. A God we ain't never seen. But the people we see every day, we play in their face. We talk about them. We're ugly. We're belligerent to them. I'm making a decision today, and I'm asking you to make the same thing. Forgive and forget is 2 different things. Someone just told me. And I'm choosing forgiveness. I chose forgiveness for my father. I chose forgiveness for those who made promises that they couldn't keep. Even partner with my brother I asked him, what do you want from me? He says, man, I just want you to become everything that God called you to be. I just want you to become that person that I know you can be. And when you are hurt so much, you don't think people really want that for you. I don't know where you're at today. Maybe someone let you down. Maybe you're a young lady and someone took advantage of you sexually. Maybe you're a young man and someone introduced you to pornography at an early age. Maybe you were introduced to a narcotic and it took you down a road that you didn't want to come back from. But I want to encourage you today that forgiveness is possible. But you got to forgive yourself first, because you didn't know that you were you. So love God, love others, but most importantly, love yourself. Be blessed.